In our previous video, we have learnt about different modes of ventilation. In present video, we are going to learn about initial settings of mechanical ventilator and how to adjust them according to clinical scenarios and how to wean off the patient from mechanical ventilation. So let's first discuss initial settings of mechanical ventilation. If you switch on any ventilator, you will see options on the monitor like mode, frequency, tidal volume, pressure support, FiO2, PEEP, inspiratory time or inspiratory to expiratory ratio. So the first thing to select is mode. So we have to decide whether to give full ventilatory support or partial ventilatory support. So most common indication for ventilatory support is either hypoxemia or CO2 retention. So both of which increases work of breathing. So to cut off the work of breathing of the patient, it is better to start off full ventilatory support modes like CMV or A by C modes. So the second thing to decide is whether to select a pressure control or volume control. So the conditions in which there is a risk of high pressures that lead to ventilator related lung injury. So in such conditions we have to prefer pressure control modes because we will deliver a preset pressure and so that the pressure will not go beyond that preset value. Such conditions are like low compliance like ARDS, atlectasis, obesity and increased airway resistance like status asthmaticus. So in conditions like ventilatory failure like the conditions in which there is CO2 retention in the body like COPD, GBS, myasthenia gravis, volume control mode should be used. So because by controlling the tidal volume we can pre-decide how much CO2 should be eliminated because CO2 washout is directly proportional to minute volume. Minute volume is nothing but tidal volume into respiratory rate. In conditions like head injury or CVA where we need to control intracranial pressure very precisely, so we have to maintain the CO2 of the patient at the lower level because CO2 increases vasodilatation and increases intracranial pressure. So for this, to control precisely the CO2, we have to prefer volume control mode. As we know, volume control mode will decide minute volume, so which is directly proportional to CO2 washout. So the next parameter is frequency or rate, which is indicated by symbol F. So it should be set at 10 to 12 breaths per minute and it should be adjusted according to ABG PCO2 value. If PCO2 is high, increase the rate because we know by increasing the rate we can wash out the PCO2 because minute volume is directly proportional to tidal volume into respiratory rate. Minute volume decides CO2 washout in the body. If PCO2 is low, decrease the rate. So one more thing is the rate should not be increased more than 20 breaths per minute because as a more than this rate approaches, the expiratory time decreases, so it will increase the air trapping. So the next parameter is tidal volume. The tidal volume should be set at 10 to 12 ml per kg of predicted body weight and it should be adjusted according to ABG PCO2 value. As we know, tidal volume will decide the elimination of CO2. So in some conditions, low tidal volumes like 4 to 7 ml per kg of predicted body weight should be preferred. Such conditions are ARDS, pulmonary edema and emphysema. So next option is pressure support. So pressure support is given only for spontaneous breaths. So pressure support initially should be set at 10 to 15 centimeters of H2O and then it should be titrated to achieve spontaneous frequency of 20 to 25 breaths per minute and spontaneous tidal volume of 8 to 10 ml per kg of predicted body weight. So FiO2. For severe hypoxemia, initial FiO2 should be set at 100% and then it is to be adjusted to maintain PaO2 between 80 to 100 mm of Hg. So after stabilization, bring FiO2 below 50% to prevent oxygen-induced lung injuries. For mild hypoxemia cases, initial FiO2 should be kept at 40% and then it should be adjusted according to PaO2 and ABG. PEEP. PEEP is used to treat refractory hypoxemia. Start at 5 cm of H2O and uptitrate up to 12 cm of H2O. So inspiratory time or inspiratory to expiratory ratio, it should be kept at 1:2 to 1:4. So inverse ratios are used to correct refractory hypoxemia in conditions like ARDS. So the next thing is how to adjust ventilator settings depending upon patient clinical status. So if the patient is having ventilatory failure, then we have to set the ventilator to improve ventilation. If the patient is having severe hypoxemia, so we have to do some settings to improve oxygenation. So let's first discuss about settings to improve ventilation or otherwise to make CO2 clearance. So as we know, CO2 clearance is directly proportional to minute volume. So minute volume is nothing but tidal volume into respiratory rate. So anything that increases tidal volume or anything that increases respiratory rate will increase the minute volume and thus increases the CO2 washout. So the first thing we have to do is to increase ventilatory frequency. So the maximum rate that can be kept is up to 20 only. So after increasing the rate, still there is CO2 retention, then we have to increase the tidal volume. So the tidal volume can be increased either by ventilatory tidal volume, that is in volume control modes of ventilation, or increase the spontaneous tidal volume. So spontaneous tidal volume can be increased by adding pressure support to the inspiration. So the next thing is to improve oxygenation of the patient. So the first thing is to improve FiO2 percentage, and the next thing is to start the PEEP. PEEP recruits new alveoli and improves oxygenation. So if these methods fail, then we have to go for IRV, inverse ratio ventilation. In this, inspiratory time is kept longer than expiratory time. It is used in the ARDS patients with refractory hypoxemia not responding to conventional modes and PEEP. So increased inspiratory time overcomes the non-compliant lungs, expands the collapsed alveoli, and increase the time for gas diffusion. So in conditions like hypoventilation, like myasthenia gravis, GBS, not only PCO2 increases but also causes hypoxia. So in such conditions, improve ventilation to increase oxygenation. So ventilation can be improved by, as we discussed now, by increasing either frequency or by increasing tidal volume. So how long do you want to keep the patient on MV? Isn't it uncomfortable? So just try to wean off once there is a resolution of reason why he was intubated and patient is hemodynamically stable and patient had adequate cough and there are no excessive secretions. And some of the criteria on ventilator settings must be reached, like patient should pass spontaneous breathing test, which I am gonna explain you in few minutes, and PaCO2 should be less than 50 mm and pH should be normal on ABG. Spontaneous tidal volume should be more than 5 ml per kg. Spontaneous frequency should be less than 35 per minute, and with 0 PEEP and 40% FiO2, PaO2 should be more than 60 mm of Hg on ABG, and with 8 centimeters of H2O PEEP and 40% FiO2, PaO2 should be more than 100 mm of He, and complaint should be more than 30 ml per centimeters of H2O, and airway resistance should be 0.6 to 2.4 centimeters H2O per liter per second. So how to wean off the patient? So the first thing to do is to check spontaneous breathing test. In this spontaneous breathing test, stop full ventilatory support to the patient and shift the patient to either partial ventilatory support where spontaneous breathing is possible, or place the patient on T-tube for 30 minutes and check for respiratory pattern, adequate oxygenation and ventilation, and hemodynamic stability. So the partial modes that can be shifted here are pressure support ventilation, SAMV with low mandatory frequency, CPAP mode, ATC mode, and many other. So here I want to stress one thing. So during spontaneous breathing trial, if the patient respiratory pattern is rapid and shallow breathing, then patient is not a candidate for weaning off. But my question is, how will you know that the patient is having rapid and shallow breathing? So for that, a ventilator parameter is there, so which can tell that patient is having rapid and shallow breathing. That parameter is nothing but F by Vt, frequency by tidal volume index. So if F by Vt index is less than 100, then it is a normal breathing pattern. If F by Vt index is more than 100, then we can say it as a rapid shallow breathing, so it indicates weaning failure. So where F is number of breaths per minute and Vt is the tidal volume. So the second thing, I used one new word called ATC mode. So ATC mode is nothing but automatic tube compensation. So presence of ET tube will give extra resistance to the airways. So this extra resistance is overcome by this ATC mode. So if patient passes spontaneous breath test without having rapid shallow breathing with normal hemodynamic parameters and adequate oxygenation and adequate ventilation, then we can proceed to extubation. Remember one thing, never try to extubate in the night times. Extubation should be done only during morning hours. And remember, after extubation, we should monitor patient closely for need for reintubation and weaning failure. Thank you for watching. So this is the final video on ventilators on my page, and for better understanding you follow from first video to last video on Medical Learning Center page, and thank you for your support. Stay tuned for more better videos.